Great. Hello guys, this is Jim Lee Elevators here on YouTube, and what you're seeing here are a bunch of Dover classic traditional elevator fixtures that you see right here. And I'm sure you guys remember the video I made a while back where I was swapping out the fire service key switch and voting you guys on which button to fit it into this empty frame right here. So anyways, what we're going to be doing is we're not only just going to be doing just that, but if you notice this intermediate station, you can see this one right here. If you notice the difference, this right here is the newer contact with the cap that sticks out, and you notice this cap that is pushed in, this is the older contact. So this is the difference that you are seeing here. But to make it more realistic, we're going to be swapping out one of the elevator fixture. I'm going to be using this down button right here, swap it onto this terminal single call station. So we will have a newer and an older Dover traditional. This big call station right here, this call station came from the old College Station Municipal City Hall building before it got torn down and fully rebuilt. As you notice the cap, you see the cap is cracked, you can see. So what I have here is an extra plastic cap that I'm going to fit onto this button. Now, I don't know if it's going to look exactly the same as this one or this, or is it going to look newer like this one. But whatever it is, I think this is going to be a perfect little elevator fixture restoration. So with that being said, we are first going to start with swapping out the intermediate station with an extra button that I have right here, in which I actually showed you in the other video I made when I swapped out the fire service. I included this. So this is what we're going to be replacing the button with. We're going to be replacing this old button with this newer button I have right here. So let's get started. So here is the button that I just pulled out of the faceplate, and we're going to be replacing with this button right here. Make sure it's lined up, and we'll slide it into the hole. Take the screw and screw it back on. Take the other screw right here, and screw it on together. Tighten a little. And voila! We finally got two identical elevator buttons. See, this down button was just replaced, which almost looked more like ThyssenKrupp's, you can see right here, because most ThyssenKrupp elevators have these plastic that stick out, which is the newer version of Dover Traditional when ThyssenKrupp bought Dover out in between 1999 and 2001. Hopefully one of these days I hope to acquire a faceplate looking exactly like this one, as well as an extra Dover Traditional elevator button. See, notice how the cap is pushed in, unlike this one right here. Hopefully I'll have an extra button like this as well as a faceplate. That way we formulate a Dover Traditional elevator fixture, much like this ThyssenKrupp Traditional call station. Now that this elevator call station is complete, we will now take this older Dover Traditional button and stick it onto this terminal faceplate. All right, I'm going to loosen the screws. And we will take this single button cap and slide it into the hole. Take the screw and we'll hook it on. All right, so I think I realized something. This right here, as you see, is a Phillips screwdriver, which unfortunately, as I realized that, unfortunately, it cannot go any further because this Phillips head screwdriver is rather too small, and as you can see, it unfortunately did not touch that little bolt right here. So I'm gonna have to go home and replace the screw from my fire service panel that I replaced, and it should be this screw and not this screw right here. So honestly, I do apologize, but this is the original classic Dover Traditional elevator button. That looks something like this. See? Now we finally got an older Dover Traditional elevator fixture right here versus the newer kind made by ThyssenKrupp. But unfortunately, like I said, you see, I unfortunately don't have a flathead screwdriver, so I'm gonna have to go back home and swap it out of my fire service panel, like I said, but this is what it looks like. Or you can turn it this way if you want to go up. See? Just like a real old vintage Dover elevator. What do you think? Oh, and not to mention, I can't forget to hook this back on. And voila, I finally got it connected. But still need to swap out the wires for this one, but I think I'm gonna do that later. Now the final piece that we are gonna work on is this big terminal Dover Traditional elevator call station. Now please note, this is actually not my button that I have right here. This is actually one of my friend's call station that came from a specific building in College Station. And here he is right here. Who is this?
This is Brian, College Station Elevators and More.
This is his button. So, how did you get this button anyway? This call station right here.
Well, they were tearing down the old City Hall in College Station, and I told them I was interested in elevators and I wanted an elevator part from the old City Hall elevator, because they were building a new City Hall, so, and they let me have that one.
But luckily, you got one part better than none.
Yeah.
Big thanks to College Station City Hall for this. Mm-hmm. Now, as you see, as I described earlier, see, notice that crack on the plastic thing? I'm sorry for wobbling the camera violently, but notice this crack right here on the plastic cap? Well, in case you're wondering, I actually have an extra cap right here. So what we're gonna do is we're going to replace this cap with a new cap. And like I said, I cannot guarantee if it's the original one or if it's gonna look exactly the new kind like this one. But we're gonna have to tolerate what we have. So like always, we're going to unscrew the contact block. If it's windy, pardon that. I do apologize about the wind. Unfortunately, this little divider is glued on, but we can pull this thing out, and here is the cap right here. So with that being said, here is the new cap we're going to pull out of this bag right here. I unfortunately don't have a scissor, so I'm gonna have to use a screw to poke it open. Here it is. Here is the new cap. Look how shiny it is. This right here is a shiny new plastic cap. So what we're gonna do is try to take the old one out. Finally got the old cap out, and here is the new cap we will hook it onto. All right, now that I finally got it snapped in, I had to like squeeze it down hard in order to snap it. Now that it's secured in place, we can put this thing back together, and as you can see, I have a good feeling this is still, thankfully, the same exact original contact like this one right here. So what we will do now is put this thing back together and screw it on. Voila! Talk about a restoration. Wow, look at this, y'all. Finally got a new button restored. I wonder what James will have to say about this.
Looks good.
What do you think, James?
Big thumbs up.
What do you think, James? I just literally fixed your elevator button.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. So with that being said, this right here is James' elevator fixture right here that I just restored.
Yeah, looks good.
How are you liking your newly restored button?
Yeah, looks nice.
All right. Now, as we close out of the video before we end, I realized that this contact block is split into two, and you can easily divide it like this. So what's going to happen is this original contact block will go back onto this right here, but this button cap will stay exactly where it's supposed to be as of right now. But I'm just only switching this because this thing does not have much of the wire than this one. So I'm going to put this contact block back onto this thing and switch this out. So I'm going to pull this thing apart. There we go. All right, now I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to use both hands to pull this thing out. Now that I finally got this thing split off, this button cap right here will go exactly where it currently is right now. But I'm going to switch this contact block back onto here. So what we'll do now is we will take this wire and hook it back onto where it was. I'm gonna have to tighten it. I'm gonna have to retighten it once I screw it back on, but this is how it looks like right here. So we will take the screw and hook it back on together. And just like that, this is what the finishing touches look like. That, my friend, completes the entire Dover traditional elevator fixture restoration. In summary, we have swapped out one of the buttons to this elevator call station right here, as well as replacing the plastic cap for this big terminal call station for James, as you can see right here. So with that being said, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun making it. This was probably the most fascinating, entertaining videos that I've ever edited throughout my whole entire life. And I hope you guys enjoyed something like this, because no one would be able to have the ability to restore elevator fixtures like how I showed you in this video, which is why a lot of them are getting modernized, because parts are getting harder to find. But with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this little informative video. Thank you guys so much for watching. And oh, before we end the video, like I said, I still need to find a screw for this thing, because like I said, the screwdriver, the screw I just showed you earlier ago does not fit. So I'm definitely gonna go back home to fix this up later tonight. So until then, I think I'm gonna include that as a bonus. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and that is gonna be it.